Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be working on the recruiters portal. Alright, so this is an actual job post, right? And the job poster wants um, a web platform that can connect job seekers and students, alright, and create like a no-code platform for them where the students can reach out to the job seekers and students can reach out to recruiters, pay for a particular meeting, and get booked onto that meeting. So that's the idea. So they are paying for like career advice sessions, as you can see here, right? And the job poster wants us to build a clean, functional MVP stripe payment, stuff like that. All right, so let's go into it. I started this already, but mistakenly I had issues with the recording, so I'll just be going through what I've built so far. I always tell you I like to create the database first. Your database is very important. So one data table for job seekers, another table for recruiters, right? Then once the job seekers create a meeting, once they pay, a meeting will be automatically created. Then we'll connect to the recruiter's Calendly link. So in Calendly, there's something called a one-time link. We are going to like append that one-time link to that particular meeting, right? So we'll have name of meeting, description, not status, but we have this should be a URL, actually URL. So we have one-time link, then we want someone related to that, the person that the student that, so related student, the student or job seeker that made that request, related students. All right, job seeker, related students to job seeker, right? Then of course we want another one, which is the related recruiter. So recruiter, related recruiter, yeah. So with this we're good to go, for the database. But now how does this play out? Really, we have a page for all the recruiters. You can see here, this is all the recruiters page. We just connect to the recruiters table basically. Then we have a details page for the recruiters. So once you click a particular recruiter, you see a lot of details there. Then payments for that recruiter. So we're just going to add a Stripe payment here, a simple checkout form, right? So this is it. We've added the Stripe payment. This should enable, a moment please. Okay, so let's pick this because if you can see here, they said two payment tiers, 40 or 20 or 40. So let's say 20 is for 30 minutes meetings, 40 is for 1 hour meetings, or 60-minute meetings. So we'll be using this, all right, and we'll just call this right, 20 monthly. Let's remove this. So 20 per meeting, $20 per meeting. Let's call it per meeting, right? Which, and the other one is $40 per meeting. So there was not enough details for that, so I'm not sure if it's really how they want the pricing to be, but let's assume 30 minutes meeting, right? And 60 minutes meeting. So my priority is to just show you the functionality, so I wouldn't spend much time here. Then once we want to say get started, we redirect to the Stripe checkout, right? And we can put a lot of things here, the ID and all of that. So, and the person can get paid. I mean, the payments can be made, right? Once the payment is made, right, we would have to use the client's actual real Stripe account, right? But once the payment is made, it will have to redirect it to what I call the meetings page. All right, meetings page. So the meetings page would contain all meetings that have not been done. So we'll pick this, then choose meetings. All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Now, one thing you need to note is that let me quickly go there. We have, let's say, done meeting and blah blah, right? And we get it's an automation that is going to put all of this in. We get the related sticker and all of that. How do we get the one-time link? In fact, how do we run this entire automation in such a way that once the payment has been made, right? Once the payment has been made, it automatically triggers that automation where it has the meeting record, so that when once the person pays, once someone pays, they just go to their meetings tab and you see all the list of your meetings and your one-time links for you to schedule. How do we do that? That's the most important part of this. I can see that meeting and all of that. So we want an automation that immediately after payments, please pay attention to this. We want an automation that immediately after payments, it triggers and it's literally automatically creates a one-time link, right, and connects it to both the recruiter and the job seeker. Of course, the one-time link and the meeting link will have to be the Calendly link of the recruiter. So how do we manipulate it? You cannot use make.com or Zapier, because now if you are using make.com or Zapier, you are adding your own Calendly link. But now we want to add a third party's Calendly link. We want to add each recruiter's Calendly link. How do we go about it? All right, so that's what I'm about to. So we can say this is done. So connect Calendly link. So we are going to be using a tool called Pathfix. What is Pathfix? I'm going to be showing you. Pathfix literally helps you. It literally helps you to create authentications for your SAS. So it says they add integrations to your SAS faster. So what this does is that now you can serve like as a third party, like as an actual SAS, even though you are in no code tool, where people automatically they can log in their Instagram and give you certain permissions, log in their LinkedIn, log in their different tools, Slack, just like the way actual third-party apps do it. Actual SAS apps actual SAS apps do these things. All right. Pardon my English. So we are just going to be going right there, and we add application, right? Excuse me. Applications. Then we go to Calendly. So with this, you can literally add an authentication into your app. So once we are done with this, we put the client's ID, client secret, right? Of course, the person has to be registered. The clients we are working with now has to be registered with Calendly. Now, Calendly is going to give us an embed code that we can put into our Softr to allow. So we'll have like an authentication page. Authentication, right? This is going to literally authenticate each recruiter, right? It's literally going to, authentication just means connecting their Calendly link to us. So they are giving us permission to help them create Calendly meetings. All right. So we have an authentication page, and of course, in the code, we are going to put the code in the custom code block here. I hope I'm not rushing ahead of myself. So here, the recruiters can literally authenticate and connect. Authentication just means connecting their Calendly link, Calendly to you, such that you can help them create meetings. Now we are going to do that using Pathfix. All right, and once we are done, now they have been authenticated. How can we start creating meetings? Inside Pathfix, we also have automations. All right, so a moment please. So there was automations. I just opened this account, so there was automations here. Maybe because I'm not subscribed. All right, so let me try and look for. Yeah, so they have the authentication, which is the OUTH. This OAUTH thing is the authentication, which I just explained now, right? Meaning you are giving anybody that uses that platform, they are giving you access to create things on their behalf, to create a meeting in this case on their behalf. Then we go to the automation side of this platform. So now we say once somebody, remember where we are coming from here, once somebody has paid, right, in the recruiters details page, once somebody has paid, it automatically triggers an automation that um, helps that job seeker create a one-time meeting link with the recruiter. All right, so the trigger would be something like this. I can't do it because I don't have the subscription for it, but the trigger will be trigger would be job seeker pays, right? Then automation, the next step of the automation will be create calendar one-time link in Calendly, right? So there will be an ID that we can use to automatically recognize which recruiter's calendar we're working with, right? And then after that, update one-time link in Softr or Airtable, right? Softr database. Most likely we'll be using Airtable. I'm just using this because it's just easier, right? Airtable is more flexible. Use one-time link in Airtable. Update one-time link in Airtable. Then once you use that one, then we are done. Once you use that one-time link, you can only use it to update to create a meeting once. After that, you can't create any meeting again. So you have to pay again. All right. I hope that makes sense. The implementation of feedback system is something we can do on Airtable. So we can. I don't think we can do it with Softr, but in the meetings page, we can now create. Okay, there's a ratings page. So we can create a ratings page and say, okay, how well did this meeting do? And we can put it in. How well did this meeting do? The recruiter can, the job seeker can literally rate the meeting, and in the recruiter's page, we'll create all the ratings together and give an average rating with a formula field. And anybody that comes into the recruiter's page can say, okay, based on 5 meetings, this recruiter has 4.5 ratings and stuff like that. So I won't be going to all of that because it's going to be a lot of hands-on work, but just explaining how it works. So done, right? I explained this as well. Done. Then mobile friendly recruiters dashboard. Your software just makes things easier. So when you come to software's interface, you can see this is how it will look on mobile and stuff like that, and you can adjust. All right. So then admin panel for managing sessions and payouts. Now this is something completely different. I don't know if I want to do it in the scope of this video. We've spent 30 minutes already. All right, so we're literally going to create an admin's page. All right, and at the admin's page will contain all meetings. So we can see in this meetings page now, we can say we'll add another paid or not, right? And not paid, we'll say disbursed. So select file, payments disbursed, right? So this can be disbursed or not, right? So if this is not disbursed, we will have we'll link this to the admin's page that an admin can see all the meeting payments that have not been disbursed, and they can disburse it, then mark as disbursed or not, and stuff like that. So I hope that made sense in my own little way of explaining it. But the session and the managing sessions and payouts will all be done in this meeting tab, right? And we'll just have an admin page that we can see all the payments, all the meetings that are available, all the payments that have been made, and so here we don't need to say payment status, because for you to even be able to create meeting, it means you have paid for the meeting. So I hope that makes sense. And with that, you have like a full SAS working for you, right? A recruiters platform where people can come book meetings and work, and everything just works like clockwork, if you permit me to say that. Yeah, so with that, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you learned one or two things. My name is Samuel Luagbam. If you want to work with us, you can use the YouTube description below to get details about us. Thank you so much. Bye. To the next one.